Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm live again. I know. So, obviously, free agency opened today, and we saw there were so many people getting signed and getting all these contracts. So, I want to come on and talk about a bunch of them because obviously, I can't make a video on all the players that got all these contracts. I wrote down when it was, when the contracts were coming out one by one. When they were coming out, I wrote down in my notes each contract as they came out so I wouldn't forget one. So, I think I have all of them on here. I think I have every single contract that has happened so far. If I missed one, sorry, but I think I've gotten every single one. So I just wanted to discuss some of them. Obviously, some of them will have, you know, lengthier talks than others because not all of them, move the needle as much, so to speak. But I wanted to get on here and talk about some of the free agency moves, and contracts that players sign because we are in it, people. This is exciting. So, first, let's talk about some of the, I guess, players who stayed with the same team and just signed, an extension or signed whatever you want to call it. So, Jeremy Grant signed back to Portland, 5 years, 160. Like, he got the bag. Good for him, getting the bag. Obviously, that's the goal, to get the bag. Obviously, to win a championship and stuff like that, too. But I'm just saying, like, obviously, you want to get the bag. So, good for Jeremy Grant. I was actually like, I knew that Portland, or I guess thought, same thing, that Portland would re sign him because they were kind of in a sticky situation where they keep saying they're trying to build around Dame. And obviously, there was nobody out there that they could pay. And also, I guess that was available who was on, who was like going to go to Portland and also like that they had the money to pay him. Like, it was like a little complicated. So, to me, I'm like, okay, they have to re-sign Jeremy Grant. I was kind of surprised it was 5 years, 160. Like, I didn't think it would be that long of a contract, especially nothing to do with Jeremy Grant, but like, with the new CBA, teams aren't like trying to give or, take on contracts that are 4+ year deals. Like, they're not trying to do that because they're trying to figure out, what's going on. People on expiring contracts are hot commodities. So Jeremy Grant got 5 years, 160. I thought he would get like a 3 year max deal, but he got 5 year, 160. So good for him. And the Blazers bring him back, and now we'll see what else the Blazers do in order to build around Dame, because that is the goal that they keep saying they have. Next player, Draymond re-sign. We all kind of, expected this. 4 years, 100 million dollars. This is actually a really good contract. Like, it's very team friendly, and I don't think people realize how team friendly this contract is because, like, $100 million, people sounds like, oh, Draymond's making 25. If you make it even, 25 million per year. If you even it out, obviously it doesn't work like that. It doesn't go even increments, but the point is like 25 million per year. But him doing this saved the Warriors, first of all, $43 million in luxury tax. That's the first thing. Like, that's very team friendly. But second of all, Draymond is smart. Like, you can say I guess he took a pay cut, if you want to call it that. But like, I think the Warriors have some moves they're gonna make coming up in free agency. We haven't seen some big, big moves yet. Like, the Draymond thing has been the only thing they've done so far. Stay tuned. I think the Warriors got some moves coming. Like, I really do. So let's see who else went back to a team. Actually, no. Yeah, Kyle Kuzma, 4 years, 102 back with the Wizards. That was expected. He was gonna get his bag. He was gonna take his bag. So like, we all expected that. And now the Wizards, are trying to build with Kyle Kuzma and their draft picks and stuff like that. So we expected that. Karis LeVert, they listened to me. The Cavs listened to me. Just re-sign Karis LeVert, 2 year, 32 for him. Good deal. I think that's a good contract. I said yesterday in the live stream, like, just re-sign Karis LeVert, or if you don't want him, someone of his style of play, like a Josh Richardson or something, because Karis LeVert to me is still a very good player. He's in his prime, and there's no reason to jump into anything and just be like we need to trade for somebody. We need to trade Darius Garland, which is crazy to me. Like, you don't need to do that. Just keep building off what you have. So they re-signed Karis LeVert. They also brought in George Niang, 3 years, 26 million. Let me just confirm. I have it. Yeah, George Niang, 3 year, 26 with the Cavs. That's a nice pickup for them. You know, he's obviously known for his 3-point shooting and stuff like that. So the Cavs could definitely use some more 3-point shooting. So I understand why they did that deal. And, you know, that's a good deal. So Cavs are making nice moves. They're making smart moves. So I agree with the moves that they have made thus far. Let's talk about Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown got the bag. I had a feeling that he was going to leave Denver because he just won a championship and he was like a key part of that. And this is his best opportunity to get like the biggest bag he can. And this is like a win-win deal for the Pacers and for Bruce Brown, in my opinion. He got 2 year 45, 2 year 45 million. So here's why it's a win for Bruce Brown. Obviously, he's making, 22 a year or whatever, like 22 million, I was going to say $22, 22 million a year. That's a bag. Good for Bruce Brown because he was only making like 5 million. But at the same time, the second year is a team option. So I think the Pacers were very smart in this deal. And I think Bruce Brown was smart as well because obviously Bruce Brown is a good player. So if they have the team option, so let's say he has a really good season, the Pacers have a good season, and then they exercise the team option. Now he gets the 22 or whatever it is per year, you know, for both years. Now he got the bag, and now he's on, an up and coming team. So that's good. The other thing is, this gives the Pacers flexibility to say, like, you know what, like maybe, it gives them room to have cap flexibility next offseason because Buddy Hield will be coming off the books. And then if they want, Bruce Brown's money can be off the books as well. So then they'll have money for a free agent. And at the same time, for Bruce Brown, I don't necessarily know what his mindset is and what he wants, but he obviously wanted to get, the bag. He got the payday. But this gives him an opportunity to make, the money this year, let's say the 22 million or whatever it is. And then next year, let's say the Pacers decline, his value is still going to be sky high. Like teams are going to try to get him championship contending teams. So then he can go to another team that's trying to compete, maybe take a little less money, but at the same time still get a decent salary and be back on a contender. Like it's a win-win for both Bruce Brown and the Pacers. So I thought this was an amazing deal. I don't think people realize how good of a deal it was. People just saw the 2 year 45 and they're like, oh, 22 million for Bruce Brown. Like it's not the way you think it is. I think this is a really good deal. Like a really good deal for both the Pacers and for Bruce Brown. Okay. Now, Kobe White re-signed to the Bulls for 3 years, 33 million. So, it didn't move the needle. Like I actually wasn't sure if the Bulls were going to re-sign him, but I wasn't surprised that they did. Like I just wasn't sure. So like, oh, a notification just came up, people. Pistons trade for Monte Morris. Monte Morris. Okay. So we'll find out what the details are on that in a little bit. I have the notifications on here too. So the Pistons trade for Monte Morris. That's interesting. We'll come back to that though a little later. Kobe White back on the Bulls. Like I said, I wasn't sure if they were going to re-sign him, but I'm not surprised. So, Kobe White. Something I was a little surprised about is Porzingis getting a 2 year, $60 million extension. 60 million, yeah, 60 million extension, $60 million extension because he didn't even play like one game yet. Like he didn't even play a game with the Celtics yet. I was surprised that they already extended him. I thought they would wait to see, how the season goes a little bit and just see how he plays and, again, alongside Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. I'm a little shocked that they gave him the extension already. That's my opinion. Like, I'm not saying he won't be worth it or he won't be good on the team, but I'm surprised that they didn't even wait till the season started. Like, I don't know. That's my opinion. Um, Torian Prince to the Lakers, that is a great pickup for the Lakers. Like an awesome pickup. 4.3 million. it still gave them the access to have the full mid-level exception. I don't know if they have it now because they signed Rui. I would assume not. But at that time, they still had access to the full MLE. Torian Prince, great pickup. They also picked up Gabe Vincent. That is an awesome pickup. Gabe Vincent is very, very good. So, not to get off the Lakers so fast, but the fact that Miami let Gabe Vincent go, and apparently Miami was offering like 7.7 per year, and Lakers obviously gave him 333, right? 333. Where is it? The Lakers gave him 3-year 33, right? So if you make it average, that's 11 per year. Not that big of a difference, right? Like the Heat could have came up a little bit, but it leads me to believe that the Heat are going to make a big splash. Like elite, because if they were willing to let Gabe Vincent go for that small of a difference, when Gabe Vincent was awesome for them, it gives me some inkling that they have some insight that they are going to land a big name point guard in a trade. I don't know who yet. We heard that James Harden is most likely linked to the Clippers. There is a world where James Harden stays on the Sixers. Like there is a world of that. But maybe the Miami Heat. Like just keep the Miami Heat in mind. Like I think they're gonna make a splash because I can't see them. They're smart. I can't see them letting Gabe Vincent go for that small of a difference if they didn't know they were going to get somebody else. That's my opinion. I don't know who yet, but that's my opinion. The Lakers also re-signed Rui. Back to the Lakers. They re-signed Rui for 3-year, 51 million. Good for him. He earned that, that money. So that was a good move by the Lakers. And then Cam Reddish got a 2-year deal from the Lakers. So the Lakers, they made some good moves. Like Torian Prince is a good move. Gabe Vincent's a good move. Like they just picked up some quality players, and now we have to see what they do with Austin Reeves. Like they still have not re-signed Austin Reeves at this point. Like free agency has been open since 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time. And Austin Reeves has still not re-signed. So, putting my thinking cap on here, that leads me. I'm not saying like he's going to leave the Lakers, but it leads me to think that he is talking to either the Rockets or the Spurs because both of those teams have cap room. Both of those teams would be interested in a player like Austin Reeves because he's young. He has that, toughness, it factor. He's smart. And I feel like he would fit really, really well in Greg Popovich's system. Like, I feel like he'd be an amazing fit with the Spurs. So I don't know if he's talking to other teams, but I feel like at this point he would have re-signed already. So I feel like he might be, and maybe he's just trying to get more money and more, create leverage from the Lakers. I don't know, but I could see a world where he goes to the Spurs. Like I did say the Rockets, but I think the Rockets are leaning more towards Brook Lopez. There keeps being more hints that Brook Lopez is going to the Rockets. It's not set in stone. We don't know yet, but there keeps being more reports put out that he's likely to go there. Maybe not, but so I think that it'd be more likely that Austin Reeves goes to the Spurs. I mean, Austin Reeves, I think, wants to win too right now, but I don't know. Like maybe it depends who offers him the most money. I'm just saying it's a little interesting that he has not re-signed at this point. Like I said, maybe it's a leverage move. Maybe he's going to re-sign and maybe he's just getting a little bit more money by taking other meetings. I have no idea what meetings he took or didn't take, but that's something to keep in mind. Wow, that's crazy. I don't know what's crazy. I don't know which deal you're talking about. I'm sorry. I don't know which free agency contract you're talking about. That's crazy, but I'm sure it was crazy. Whatever I said, whatever I said that in reference to. Let's see what else. Um, Chris Middleton resigned 3 years, a 100 and what? What did I write? 3 years, actually 3 years, 102 million. Chris Middleton re-signed to the Bucks. That's interesting. I think that obviously was something that was probably going to happen. I think we all really thought that, like, I was like, there could be a world where he goes to someone like the Magic or something, like a team that just needs to spend their money. But I felt like it was more likely he would stay with the Bucks. But if Brooke Lopez leaves the Bucks, it makes an interesting situation over there. But Chris Middleton staying, good for him. Got his money. So, let's see. Nikhil Alexander Walker went back to the Wolves, got a 2-year deal. Reggie Jackson went back to the Nuggets, 2 years, 10.25 million. Very specific number. With Bruce Brown gone, I expect him to get a bigger role. Do. I think they signed him to that contract expecting him to have a bigger role next season, unless they do something else in free agency. They also re-signed DeAndre Jordan, and so the Nuggets, obviously, losing Bruce Brown is tough. That's a really huge hit. Like, that's a huge hit for them. So they're going to have to make that up somewhere. Let's see what else is here. 4-year, 80 million. Pirtle stays with the Raptors. I think we expected that. Now, when they traded for him at the trade deadline, I didn't think it made sense. I was like, why are you trading for him when he's a free agent and we know the Spurs aren't going to want to re-sign him? Because we knew they were trying to get Wembanyama. So I was like, why? I didn't understand why they were trading for him. Well, someone commented on that video. Shout out to that person because I still remember this. I remember because I said in the video, I'm like, I don't really get it. Like, I felt like you could have gotten him in free agency. But the person who commented, whoever it was, had reminded me that by trading for him, they got his rights so they could offer him more money. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. So now it makes sense why they traded for him so they could offer him more money so they would have his rights. So 4-year, 80 million for Pirtle. So that's good. I think that's a good signing. The Raptors, we got to figure out they just lost Fred VanVleet, which I just talked about in the video I just posted. Fred VanVleet is going to the Rockets. 3 years, 130 million. 3 years, $130 million for Fred VanVleet. You can go watch that video so you can hear my in-depth analysis on that. But I think it's a pretty good deal. Like I said in the video, I probably would have done a 1+1. I thought the 3 was like a little bit longer than I expected, but I still expected them to sign him, and like I'm not surprised. So the Raptors signed Schroeder, 2 years, 26 million. So obviously it made sense that Schroeder was going to leave the Lakers when they signed Gabe Vincent. And also the Raptors had to do something since Fred VanVleet left. So makes sense there too. Seth Curry went back to Dallas. I think this is his third time. His third time in Dallas. This is a great pickup for them. Seth Curry is a great three-point shooter. Seth Curry was a great pickup for any team. Anybody who picked him up, it was a win. So this is a good signing for Dallas. I agree. I agree with this move. 3 years for Fred is nuts. Like I said, I probably would have done a 1+1, but I understand the Rockets signing him. Like, I thought it made sense to sign him. Derrick Rose going to the Grizzlies. I think, and I posted this on the community page for you guys, I think this is one of the most underrated signings that will go under the radar as free agency passes, because obviously everyone's going to talk about, the players who got big deals and players who changed teams and stuff like that. Derrick Rose going to the Grizzlies cannot be any better of a signing. Like, Derrick Rose is unanimously respected and beloved around the league. Everybody loves him. Everybody respects him. They will listen. Like, this is the perfect mentor for Ja Morant and the whole Grizzlies team, the young team. Derrick Rose went to college in Memphis. Derrick Rose, was an MVP of this league. Derrick Rose went through, his set of injuries. And, Derrick Rose is the one person who I actually didn't even think about as an option for Memphis. He's the one person who I feel like everybody would listen to. So the fact, and he'll probably get some playing time because John Morant, is suspended and he wanted to play supposedly. So like that makes sense too. But uh, this is such an underrated signing. Like this may be the missing piece to just like fix whatever's going on over there. So I think you need to look out for that signing. That was that was a really big signing, in my opinion. And we all love Derrick Rose. So Gary Trent is finalizing an extension with the Raptors. So we'll see what that is, a little bit later. Um, there were a few other things. The Suns signed a bunch of players to come off the bench. Josh Okogie went back to the Suns. Chimezi Metu went to the Suns. Um, Keita Bates-Diop went to the Suns 2 years, $5 million. Drew Eubanks went to the Suns 2 years with the player option. So they just signed a bunch of players, to come off the bench and solidified their bench rotation. That's basically what they're doing because they don't have any money. So that's basically what they're doing, trying to get players on small deals. Javon Carter, 3 year for $20 million. He went to the Bulls, I think. I wrote the Bulls, but I don't know why I feel like that's wrong. I think he went to the Bulls, but that is a good pickup if it was the Bulls because they need a point guard. And Javon Carter is a very good player. He has that toughness and he's very reliable. I like his game. So I think that was a good deal. Let's see what else is on here. Um, Joe Ingles went to the Magic, 2 years, $22 million. Good for him. Get his money. Magic had to spend some money. They had a lot of cap room. So, like I said, you're going to see the younger teams sign some players to like 1+1 deals and stuff like that because they need to have money on their books because it's a rule, but at the same time, not take like 5 year maxes from people. Kyrie, I forgot about Kyrie. Kyrie, 126, 3 years with Dallas, or 3 year, 126 with Dallas, rather. I think we all expected this. Like, there wasn't any team that wanted Kyrie that like made sense. Like, obviously, like not Detroit or like Orlando, because obviously he wanted, a more lengthy contract. It didn't make sense for them to sign him, you know. So like the teams that had cap room didn't make sense, and then the teams that didn't have cap room, like I don't know exactly which teams, wanted him or not, but like the Suns, the Lakers and stuff like that, like they didn't have the money to get him, like the money that he wanted. We all knew he was going back to the Mavericks. Like it kind of was assumed at that point. Uh, Fred is not a max player. Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. Like I said, I don't know if I would have done a 3 year deal, but like they had to spend the money. Like regardless of what you think his value is not less. Let me try to phrase this properly. His value is different on on the Raptors, on the Rockets rather than okay, the Raptors because like the Rockets aren't expecting to win right now. They're not. They're just expecting to rebuild, have Fred VanVleet be a mentor, they got Ime Udoka and stuff like that. So like his contract isn't how do I explain this? Like a player I don't know how to explain this properly. His contract isn't as bad as it would be on like potentially another team that is trying to win right now. And even then, like Fred VanVleet, I think is still kind of underrated at this point in his career, but like he is starting to have some injuries. Like he had some back injuries this year, I think. Um, but like what I'm saying is when you go to like a bad team, I'm not trying to be mean to the Rockets, like bad in terms of like they didn't win that many games last year. They should be a lot better this year. They have a lot of talent. So like and if you watch this page, I like a lot of their players. I love Alperen Şengün, Jalen Green. They have, they just got Cam Whitmore and Ben Thompson. Like they have so much talent, and I really like their young players. So like I'm not saying bad that they're bad players, but they didn't win that many games. So when you go to a team like that who like has to spend the money, I feel like the salary is different. Like, does that make sense? I know that was like a runaround, a runaround answer. I didn't know how to explain it properly. I just feel like it's different. Like, I feel like you can't judge it the same way because they had to spend the money. Like, if they like, so I don't know. That's how I can't really explain it properly out like words out of my mouth. It made sense in my head though, but I don't think it was as bad of a deal as people are saying. I actually don't think it's a bad deal. I just think I would have done a 1+1. That's the only thing that I would have done. A 1+1 for Fred VanVleet, but 3 years. So, um, let's see. Was there anything? Kevin Love went back to Miami. That's good. I think that's a good signing. Harrison Barnes went back to the Kings. I think he got 3 year, 45 million. That's fine. They kind of not that they didn't have a choice, but like I don't know if they knew or could find somebody who could replace what Harrison Barnes did at that position for what they wanted to pay. So I think it depended on what the market was and who wanted to go to Sacramento and who was available. So, I think that's why Harrison Barnes is still there. Trey Jones re-signed with the Spurs, 2 years, 20 million. I think that's a good deal too. I think I like Trey Jones. I think he's a good player. Let's see what else. That's almost everything. And then Cam Johnson got 4 years, 108 from the Nets. We expected him to get re-signed, so not a shocker there. I think that is it. I think that is it for all the contracts. Did I say O'Shea Brissett went to the Celtics? Maybe I didn't. O'Shea Brissett went to the Celtics. I'm happy for him that he got another contract somewhere. How many years ago was this? 3 years ago, maybe at this point. 3 years ago. It was like 3 years ago, where the Pacers. I think that's when Sabonis was still on the team, or maybe Sabonis had just no. Sabonis must have still been on the team, or was Sabonis traded? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The point is, O'Shea Brissett got a bunch of minutes. He got to play, and he was really good. And I was like, oh, okay, next season he's gonna have a breakout season. And then he just fell out of the rotation. Like I actually think he's a good player, so I'm happy that the Celtics picked him up. He's a hustle guy. He does a lot of little things, so I'm happy for him. I think those are all the contracts. Like, I think I went through all of them. Like, there are still more that we are waiting for, though. Like, we are still waiting for some big names. Yes, Fred VanVleet to the Rockets. I made a video on it, and I talked about it in this video. Like, I actually think I'm going to say it for the 1500 for the 1500 time. I actually think it was a good deal. Like I said, 65 times. I would have done a 1+1 and not a 3 year deal. That's my opinion. I just felt like 3 years was a little long, but like I still don't think it's a bad deal. I don't think people should be criticizing it. Um, but I think it was a good deal. And like I said, Brooke Lopez might be heading over there too. So look out for that. Oh, would have made the 3rd year team option, but he brings a lot to the table. It's fine. Oh, we have the same we have the same thought. That's funny. Um, I guess you could have done that too. 3rd year team option, something like that. Like I said, 1+1. So I guess those two things are kind of the same, like either 2 years and team option or 1+1 and a player option. But I actually think it's a good deal. And like I said, I think Brooke Lopez might be coming to the Rockets. So look out for that. But we are still waiting on some big names. Like we are still waiting on Brooke Lopez. We are still waiting on Austin Reeves. We are still waiting what's happening with James Harden. Dante DiVincenzo is still out there. There keeps being, more rumors that he's going to the Knicks, but we haven't heard anything yet. Like since free agency is open, we've heard nothing. So Dante DiVincenzo, Dylan Brooks is still available. Mason Plumlee is still available. He's a really good center. I heard, we hear rumors all the time. So like I try not to talk about rumors, but I saw a report that the Clippers are open to trading Zubac so that they can re-sign Mason Plumlee. So maybe they're trying to get a trade done first so they can give Mason Plumlee a bigger contract. I don't know. Mason Plumlee's really good though. Christian Wood is still out there. Who else is out there? I'm definitely forgetting somebody. There's probably some other good players out there too that I just can't think off the top of my head, but there are some good players left that we are waiting to find out where they go. So, oh, D'Lo, thank you. D'Lo is still out there. Russell Westbrook is still out there. I feel like there's not a lot of shooting guards out there. I feel like they're like either all signed, like they signed today, or they're already signed. They're already signed. I don't think there's that many shooting guards available. Oh, Jalen McDaniels, he's still available. Jalen McDaniels needs to get a contract. Like, what is going on? Jalen McDaniels is a very good player. Sixers need to well, I guess they have to wait to see what happens to James Harden. Maybe that's why. Um, yeah, there's a bunch of good players still out there. We gotta the teams that I would be watching out for before I, click off. The teams that I would be watching out for if I were you guys would be the Heat, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Clippers, the Warriors, and is there any other team? Maybe the Blazers. I don't know. I don't know if the Blazers have anything else that they're going to do. But definitely the Heat. Definitely watch the Heat. The Knicks, just because they're always a variable in there somewhere. The Clippers and the Sixers, because they are talking with one another. And then the Warriors. Because the Warriors, if you think about it, they haven't made any deals except for Draymond so far. You know the Warriors definitely have to make another deal. They're definitely going to make another deal. So I would look out for those 5 teams. I'm trying to think if there's any other team that you should be looking out for. Maybe the Jazz. Did the Jazz sign anybody yet? The Jazz have like 93 million on their books. They have to sign somebody. They have a lot of cap room. All right, watch the Jazz for somebody. Somebody's getting money from the Jazz. Somebody's getting money from them. When the Magic signed Joe Ingles 2 years, 22, which means 11 million, they had like 99 on their books, which means they're still under the cap. So they look to them to maybe they might bring in somebody else. The Pacers may have a little bit of money too because they only did Bruce Brown and they were pretty low under the books too. So Pacers might have a little bit of money. Did the Pistons do anything? Wait a minute. All the teams that have money. Hold on now. The Pistons, oh, they just made a trade. The Pistons traded for Monte Morris, but still, they still have money. All right, so watch all the teams that have money. Somebody's getting a bag from some of them, and then the 5 contenders, potential contenders rather, the Sixers, the Heat, the Clippers, the Warriors, and the Knicks. Those are my 5 watch teams, and then my 5 watch teams for bag alerts would be the Magic, the Jazz especially, the Rockets too, the Spurs. Oh my God, there's so many teams with money. Um, well, I said at the beginning. Actually, I think that was the first player I did was Jeremy Grant at the beginning of this live stream, the 5-year 160. I said that I was actually surprised. I knew that they were going to re-sign him because they were in a tricky situation where like they couldn't replace his value with the money that they had already on their books, and especially with who was available in free agency. So I knew they were going to re-sign him. I was surprised that it was a 5-year max or 5-year 160. Like I thought it was going to be like a 3-year deal, maybe like something like that. I was surprised it was 5 years. I was like, whoa, like good for him. Get the bag, whatever. Like, I'm not mad at Jeremy Grant. I'm just saying, like, I was surprised that the Blazers offered him a 5-year max. But that's how I feel about it. Oh, I think, and I don't know if I said Trey Lyles is going back to the Kings. I think I did say that, but that's the other thing. So that's it. Those are all the moves. So watch out for those teams that I said to watch out for. The deadline. That's not even the deadline, but like something is going to happen with James Harden very soon. Either he's staying or he's getting moved. Like, is one of the two. So we'll see what happens. Like, but something is coming very soon because it's been very quiet over the past couple of hours. It's been a little too quiet. Since that Fred Van Vliet signing, it's been a little too quiet. So just expect something big to come soon. At least I'm expecting something big. So thank you guys for joining in and tuning in and listening. And we'll see what moves happen next. I will be looking at my phone and looking at Bleacher Report and notifications and everything and Woj and Shams, just like you guys. So thank you guys. Bye.